right, guys. I got a big ask of you. So my parents, when I told them I was speaking in front of 1,500 people, they're like, "We don't believe you." I'm like, "Okay." So I got to get a video of you guys. I need like a wave-like action, like people doing this across the room as my phone goes, just so I can send this to my parents, because I'm like a 16-year-old child. So give me 2 seconds, and if you guys want to start over, let's get it going. Let's get it up. Get some energy going, and start over there. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. So my name is Matt Temmen. I am from Springfield, Missouri, but originally from a small town in central Missouri called Westphalia. And in Westphalia, there's about 300 people. I grew up on a farm, about 600 acres, more cows than people kind of thing. And all that really happened in that community, and it's a great place to raise a family, it's a great place to have a family, but there was no progression. There was no reaching for anything. There was never going to be something where you go out of the norm and you build something. And so I went to college at Missouri State University in Springfield, Missouri, and I had a 1.9 GPA. I was a terrible student. I never showed up to class, and then I got into insurance. And when I got into insurance, I thought I had to be the best salesperson. I thought I had to be the best marketer, and I thought I could convert my way into building a great business. And I was wrong. See, a lot of people are so focused on the silver bullet of that ad or the salesperson or the next thing that's going to move them forward. But the reality is leadership is the key. And that was what I was missing the entire time. I thought that the special Facebook ad and the rock star salesperson was what it meant, but it was my development as a leader that was actually going to move the company forward. And so I'm going to walk you guys through my story of what I went through, because I didn't have PE backing me. I didn't have $1 million start in this thing. I didn't have anything, to be honest. I had a base, and I knew how to sell a little bit of insurance. And I'm going to walk you guys through this story, because what I hear over and over and over again from agents is, "Matt, I want something similar to what you have." Guys, I wouldn't put anyone through what I've been through. I mean, I'm 28. I have gray hairs. Sometimes I forget stuff. I probably have dementia at the age of 28 because it's hard. Like, to build this business and go fast and do it at a young age and do it with no money is difficult. And so I'm going to walk you guys through my story, what it looked like, when it was hard, when it got difficult, and what I did to get through that. And then at the end, I'm going to go through the stages of this business. You see, there's certain things that you have to do at every stage of business to go from 0 to 100,000, 100,000 to 300,000, 300,000 to 800,000, 800,000 to 1.5 million, 1.5 to like, I think 3 to 8, and then 8 to 15, and we haven't gotten there yet. But the leader you must become. And this is mostly a story to myself of what I need to be, who I need to be. And this is talking to myself at the end of the day of how I can develop all at the same time. Did I kill the thing? All right, so this is me at the first MedicareCon, a little bit heavier, some would say. And Chris, who's in the room with us, I mean, he was there, I believe, back in the day. But that was me, a little bit heavier, a little bit dumber, and a lot of different things. And I've known Justin for 4 or 5 years now, and nowadays things look different. That is my fiance, Emily. She is amazing. And I hope that you guys have in my life, in your life, what I have in mine, and that is a partner that absolutely humbles you every single day. You see, I go home and I'm like, "Emily, we made all these sales, we made all this money, and we did all this stuff." She's like, "That's cool. Like, that's cool." Or she's like, all of this, and I'm like, we're hiring all these people and all that, and she's like, "That's cool." Very, very humbling. And I pray, it's great because I think I'm doing good, and she resets the bar of what my standard is as a person, and it just over and over and over again. And so I started in 2019. I got licensed. I started selling mortgage protection and final expense. Did anyone start on the life side? Final expense agents, in-home, maybe telesales. Dude, tough business, all right? Like, I was going all over the place. When they started, there was really no telesales. People were doing it, but it wasn't like as established as it is today. And this is the route I took. This is quite literally, I was on a 4-week cycle to get mortgage protection leads, and I would go from Springfield, and then I would go to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Des Moines, Iowa, and Lincoln, Nebraska, and Omaha, Nebraska, and Kansas City, just to get mortgage protection leads. Talk about working, man. That's why I gained like 50 pounds when I started in the industry. I was working. I was either recruiting, or I was selling, or I was in a home, or I was appointment setting every second of every day. There was nothing going on in this brain but selling insurance. I'm 28, I was probably 22 at the time, and I was working the hardest I've ever worked. Quite literally, I would get the lead, I would appointment set on the way at the airport, in the car on the way, and I would run those appointments every single week. And I was home one week a month, and I would do that over and over and over again. You can see, you guys can see how many miles that is. So the first 12 months I did life insurance, super exciting, it was awesome, I was making all this money. I wasn't keeping much of it. And so I built a team to $200,000 a month of issued business, which on the outside looking in is an awesome thing. Oh my gosh, we're doing so much issue paid, we're making $1 million, that's great. And I issued a lot of business myself. And what happens whenever you write a lot of simplified issue life insurance, and you do it very quickly and you don't really insulate the client, is you get a lot of what's called chargebacks. And man, I remember sitting there every morning. I'd wake up because of anxiety, because I would get a chargeback email at 5:58 every single morning from one carrier. And my body would literally wake up at 5:56, 2 minutes before that chargeback email came in or didn't come in. And when I didn't see that email, there was so much relief for the rest of the day. And that stuff sucks. That part of the business, it just is not very fun. And so I was recruiting a lot of people, things were going amazing, but my expenses were incredibly high. I was spending like $3,500 a week on leads. I was spending probably another $800 to $1,000 a week on hotels and other expenses and things like that. And so like the deposits were coming in, but I wasn't making anything. All the income was going to something else. Does anybody feel like that? Like, hey, I'm making all this money, but it's like I can't take it home. Does anybody feel like that? Come on now. If you don't want to share it, it's fine, but I'm telling you guys the truth about what I went through. And so that year, the gross income, okay, great. I can post it on social media. I made $330,000 this year, my first year in the industry. Pump up the jam, right? I wasn't making anything, guys. I was racking up so much lead debt. I was racking up so much carrier debt too, all at the same time. But every person I was recruiting, I'm like, this is an amazing opportunity. This is awesome. This is great. This is so cool. But in reality, I gained 50 pounds. I literally woke up every single morning with so much anxiety because I was waiting for those chargebacks to come in. It hurt. I mean, I still remember how that stuff feels. But one thing about the life insurance industry that I see potentially lacking sometimes in the Medicare space is I learned how to work hard. You see, growing up, I don't want to be that guy, I worked every day, but growing up when all my friends were playing baseball and all my friends were doing all this stuff and having fun, my parents would be like, hey, we're picking up rocks this weekend. No joke. We're going to go in the field and we're going to pick up rocks. Or we're going to pick up cans on the side of the road and we're going to recycle them. I didn't grow up that privileged. My parents have always been very supportive. They've always been very helpful. But at 16, they're like, go buy a car, go get a cell phone, and go do all that stuff. And I'm very thankful for that because it made me a very resourceful human being. I thank them for it. They never gave me anything for a reason. They were great parents, but after 16, it's go figure it out. And I appreciate it because it made me who I am today. But all that's, on the outside looking in, things are going great, it's going awesome. And then the straw that breaks the camel's back. Them dang chargebacks. And it wasn't just mine. I was rolled $38,000 of my downline's debt. And I'm I do finance Fridays with my team. I talk about paying off debt. I'm fine paying off my own debt. I'm not okay paying off someone else's debt. And so what's so cool about this presentation is I've never looked back. I've never looked back over the last 6 years and here's what we went through, here's when we went through it, here's the people we were with. And so when I built this presentation, I had to do that. And it was really cool because I saw the photos and the emails and the pictures and the memories of all of this unfolding and all the stress and all the anxiety. And this is quite literally what happened. I remember getting this email, this paper, this attachment. And I'm like, oh, how much is it? Like $5,800 or something? Whatever it is. Then there's this one, 11 grand, bang, shot to the heart, right? Another one. I guess I'm looking up there when I could look right here. Then another one, $3,500. Then another one. And at that point, like, I wanted to look cool, and I was posting on my Instagram stories, like, y'all should sell life insurance. But I wasn't cool. Like, I had heavy debt, heavy stress. I didn't like who I was as a person. Like, I don't know about you guys, but when I took a shower, I couldn't look myself in the mirror because I didn't like what I saw. I wasn't successful. I was overweight. I didn't have good relationships. And I was hurting. So I needed to switch. I needed to look in a different direction. And I'm not really a fan of pivoting. I think people pivot really early. They're like, oh, we spent $100 on Facebook ads. You know, we should try something. It's like, no, we got to work through this stuff. But at that point, I said, let's freaking pivot. I had $38,000 that I owed to carriers, and I had 45 grand on credit cards from all the leads that I had purchased and the hotels and all the different stuff. At that point, like, you go one of two ways. You either get out of the business and roll that to your next upline, or you lock in. And at that point, I decided to lock in. And I could have blamed CMS. Does this sound familiar? I could have blamed the carrier. I could have blamed politics. I could have blamed the president. But I blame myself. And if you guys want to build a business, you guys want to lead people, it's always your fault. I hear it all the time in the Facebook groups. The person I hired didn't work out. Well, who hired them? Who interviewed them? Who trained them? Who onboarded them? You did. Your business is a direct reflection of you. And there is no getting around this. It's not my market's saturated. There's no good people in my market. Millennials don't like to work anymore. Dude, I have multiple companies of 40 plus people, and nobody is above the age of 34. They just don't want to work for you. You're not a good enough leader to get them through what they need to get through. You can't lead them to the life that they want. It's on you. And until you recognize that, until you can actually get to a point where it's like, you got to be the leader. You got to be the one. You got to be the person that can bring people's life forward. When they tell you their goals, you help them hit it, and you do it over and over and over again. And I hear it all the time at these conferences. Nobody wants to work anymore. Again, they just don't want to work for you. Lock in. So in 2021, I pivot to Medicare. And I took that life insurance work ethic, that 20, 30, 40, 50 appointments, and I took it into Medicare. And I got I didn't travel anymore, but I got every single lead possible. I got DSNP, I got LIS, I got T65, I got mortgage protection, I got final expense, all to get in front of people to sell more Medicare and health insurance. And I hired an appointment setter, and I was working quite literally 45 to 55 in-home appointments a week. Some of y'all I talked to, and you're like, dude, I haven't worked 4 appointments this month. And you're like, where are my results? It's like, dude, you gotta work, man. Like, I think I have it in these slides somewhere, but I sold like 800 clients my first year, but I freaking worked like a dog. Again, there's a reason I have gray hairs at 28, and I worked over and over and over again. And when all my friends were like, why are you doing this? Why are you working so hard? I'm like, I can see it. I can see something happening, and it's gonna happen. But at that point, I hired an appointment setter. I was working 45 to 55 in-home appointments a week. I was selling a bunch, like I was selling a lot, but I was spending so much. It wasn't a business. Like I was just churning money over and over again. It's like when I make $5,000, I put it back in. When I make $10,000, I put it back in. And I do it over and over and over again. I kept on this pace for about a year. I sold 850 new clients that year. I mean, talk about working, man. Like, I grew up on a farm. I know what hard work looks like. I've been through a lot of stuff, but there ain't nothing like that. Like, there's manual labor, and that's a different type of work, but that tax, that stress, what it puts on you, it's like, now I can get through the hard parts. Now I know what hard looks like as a business owner. Like when there's not enough money in the account to meet payroll, or when the leads are more expensive than they were last week, or when all this stuff, it's like, I've been through this before. I've been through the hard part. But I did all this with now, Alexis just got up here and she said she got 3,000 by herself. That's freaking balling. That is freaking cool. But it was just me. It was no systems, no go high level, no Facebook ads. It was just a bunch of direct mail, an appointment setter, and just get to freaking work, man. Just get after it. So this insane level of work, and that's the hardest I've ever worked. I tell people I worked hard to get the business where it is today, but that is by far the hardest I've ever worked in my entire life. But it gave me enough cash and the residuals to start an office. And so I went from being a solo salesperson, now we're turning into a real business. And this is where a lot of people get stuck. A lot of people are like, I know how to sell clients myself. I know how to bring them on. How do we build a business? A business that does not require you. A business that not only maintains, but it grows without you. I think that is the goal. When you have a business that grows without you, you win, your employees win, and your clients win. And that is the triangle. You have to build a business, or at least strive to build a business, where not only you can win, but your team can. That's very important to me. Chris Mooneyham's with me here today. He was my first LOA sales agent. Been with me for like 3-4 years now. You have to build something where your people can win. Because I think it creates, when you're up there, you're making a couple $1,000,000 a year net, and your team's not winning at all, like I think that's a bad life. But it's possible in this industry specifically to build a business where everyone wins. And I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. So I had 13 grand to start this office. And you're probably thinking like, how do you only have $13,000? Paying off a lot of carrier debt and paying off a lot of high interest credit cards. So I had $13,000. Start this sucker. That's an office. And I don't know if y'all have offices, but 13 grand to start something, not good. I mean, it's not a lot of money. It goes very quickly, and you're going to be stressed every second of every freaking day. And it's not very fun. But you do it all to get to the point that I'm talking about, which is building a business that does not require you. And so this is the first one. It's awesome. Give it a round of applause. Let's freaking go. So this was the first one, old Temmen insurance, and it was like $1,800 a month. This stressed me to the max because I wasn't ready for it. But Chris can attest to this. I said, like, we're going to be the Google of insurance. It may not look like it, but we're going to build something great here. We're going to build something where people like going to work, where it's not like you don't get the Sunday scaries, and every Sunday night you're like, I don't want to go into the office tomorrow. Like my sole passion was like, yes, we need to make money, but we're going to build something where people actually like going to the office, and they like who they work with, and they maybe like their boss too. Like I can be really hard to work with sometimes because I have high standards, but for the most part, my goal is to create a great place to work. And again, it's not pretty. This sucker wasn't pretty, but we are selling clients every single day. So I was working a lot of direct mail at the time, working like a dog. I got that office, and we're like, all right, we got to market a little bit smarter here, rather than going into everyone's home, rather than all that. So we started doing seminars, and I remember that seminar. That's in Joplin, Missouri, during AEP in the middle of COVID, when they said not to do seminars, but I did them anyway. Not a good idea, but it worked out. And we started doing those, and that was a lot of our marketing for probably about 8 to 12 months. That was like solely how we got them, on top of then adding Facebook leads. So this was a big step for us, because nobody taught us how to do it. There weren't really courses on how to do it. There wasn't like the silver bullet that everyone's looking for. We just started splitting and testing and seeing what's work. And we built our own automations and our own Facebook ads. And we just went to town. I mean, we didn't know what automation was. We didn't know what Zapier was. We didn't know what SOP was. We were just guys being dudes, honestly. Back in the day, we were just a bunch of guys being dudes, selling insurance, figuring it out at the end of the day. But one thing that I did is I continued to sell. I didn't get out of selling because I knew I had to support this thing. Like if I didn't sell, there would be no Temmen insurance. There would be no Missouri Insurance Advisors. There would be no Mueller Insurance. There would be none of this because I had to continue to sell to get the cash flow to do this stuff. Again, I had no backing, no money from anyone, just me. I was the bank. A lot of people will be like, I need to get a loan. It's like, dude, you are your own loan. You can go sell a final expense policy or a Medicare policy or a cancer policy or whatever and go generate just as much cash. You as a single producer should be able to generate $300,000 to $500,000 a year. And if you're not, you need to learn how to. You don't need a freaking loan. You are the loan. So this is memes, man. Freaking crazy. This is what it was. This is us selling. I mean, there's a freaking ladder back there. I mean, what the heck was going on? We don't even know. But we were just back there slinging policies. We had our leaderboard. I was being a freaking idiot, pretty much. And that year, it's supposed to be 1.9 million, not 190,000. But that year we made about 1.9 million, and the net income was 95,000. What the frick? Those margins are terrible. What is this guy doing? But what was happening is like every single dollar was going back into new leads, new people. And the problem is whenever you've never hired someone before, you don't know what good looks like. This is hilarious. One time we hired a person, and within like a couple weeks, we had like dial requirements, and they were calling their own cell phone to get dials. If that tells you like the quality of the person that you don't know. If you're hiring people and you've never hired someone before, you have no idea what good looks like. But you optimize, and you eventually are like, okay, maybe we should look at this. Maybe we should ask these questions in the interview. Maybe we should see if someone's ever called someone on a phone ever before. And you get better and better and better. And I'm telling you guys all this because I think sometimes we think that it's easy. We see people like Justin, and we see people like Josh Lustig and Beish, and maybe even someone like me, and we're like, man, it must be so easy for that guy. The reality is everybody's been through it. Everybody's freaking burned a bridge one day and said, I'm going to work through this stuff, and I'm going to be the leader. I'm going to be the person that's going to be able to attract the talent to build the business. So then, 2022, we actually started building a real business. We started building something that had systems, processes, all of that type of stuff. It was exciting. It was exciting times. And I met this guy. You guys know him? I love the picture. That is nice. That is nice. So I found a guy that had kind of what I wanted. He had a business that grew without him, that he could be wherever he wanted to be, and it was still growing. It was a business he felt good about. It was something that like he was proud of, where his employees were winning, he was winning, his clients were winning. And a great friend of mine, as you guys know, Justin Brock. That picture with him with the glasses is actually wacky too. So, like the hiring stories, all of that. I mean, we started hiring the craziest of people, but I got really lucky with like Chris. We hired another girl named Kaylee, and they were great employees. After that, can't say the same, but I got really lucky with the first two, and Chris is still with me to this day. We were just being dogs. We were just running and gunning and figuring things out and messing up carrier appointments so we didn't get paid and selling and doing things, and here's some of that going on. And then we scaled Facebook ads to the tune of about 40,000-ish a month. At that point, I want to say we were bringing on maybe 200 clients a month at that point, maybe 180 to 200. But I've never been scared to spend. It was just like, what else am I going to do with the money? Now, one caveat I want to give to you guys, I still have no kids. I'm engaged now. I wasn't at the time. Not everyone can do this. And I mean that in the nicest way possible of like, not everyone can live off dirt for like 3 years. I lived off less than $30,000 a year, 3 years in a row to make this all happen. I mean, I ate crap, like quite literally. But it was what was required to win. See, some of you guys want the Lambo, and you want all this stuff, and you're like, why isn't my business growing? It's like, dude, you just took all your cash out. Up until about 6 to 12 months ago, I took no cash out. And now it's just like, we'll get to it, what it is nowadays. But I just put it, like when we made $1, it went straight back in. I took nothing off the table, which some people would say isn't very smart. But, it worked out thus far, which got us to our next office. So then we became Missouri Medicare Advisors, which is now Missouri Insurance Advisors, because guess what? You got to take Medicare out of the name. And this is where we are nowadays. And, that we still have probably half of those people with us nowadays. And we're like, dang, we're turning into the freaking Google of insurance. So man, I suck at these numbers. The gross income that year was 3.4 million, net income about 236, and you're probably thinking again, dude, this guy sucks at making margin. Like this guy cannot make money because those margins suck. And guys, I just put it in over and over. I mean, there were days we were making $100,000 in a day, and I'm like, back in, over and over and over. Back in the business. When everyone else is buying Lambos and buying Ferraris and all that stuff, I'm like, we're going to build something great, and we're going to do it fast. So I remained ultra frugal. I mean, I drove a Toyota Camry that I sold to someone in my office up until January of last year with a business that's doing 8 figures. I wanted to build something great, man. I wanted to build something, again, where people love going to work, and it wasn't all about I didn't want to look good, I wanted to be good at the end of the day. And so this allowed me to create a business that wasn't 100% dependent on me. And this is what I'm truly proud of at the end of the day. So at this point, I was like, man, we're getting good at Facebook ads. We can sell the policies. I thought that solely sales and marketing would get us to become the Google of insurance, but I was wrong. And what I mean by that is leadership is what took us from $2 million a year to $13 million a year. We run the same Facebook ads that we ran 3 years ago. We run the same seminar ads, the same book ads, the same direct mail that we've been running for 3 years. The difference is my ability and my team's ability to lead people and align them with the vision of the company. When you can align a team of people and they can see the vision within your company of what they can become while also the company winning, I can tell you right now, beautiful things start to happen. And so my ability to lead people was solely the difference maker. I needed to build a company where the vision was so big that my team's goals and aspirations and dreams could fit in it. And I'm going to challenge you guys right now. Right now, a lot of you guys in this room, you're like, I have a dream. But if you want to build a team and you want it to build a business where it doesn't rely on you, you have to build a business big enough that their dreams can fit within your dream. And if you can do this, beautiful things start to happen at the end of the day. So I saw mentorship. All of this was all new to me. I had no idea what leadership meant. I didn't know what it looked like. And I invested over $400,000 into my development, courses, workshops, masterminds. If you guys know who Alex Hormozy is, or Brandon Dawson over at Cardone Ventures, I bought all the stuff. I mean, all the stuff. Anything that anyone has put out as far as like Facebook ads or leadership, me and Justin did a deal. Cost me $75,000, a leadership thing. I've spent all the money because I wanted to be the leader that people could follow at the end of the day. So at this point, we went into hyperspeed as a company. We developed leaders within the company. It wasn't just me leading people, but it was my leaders leading people. And we went from 12 to 28 employees, and we ascended leadership. So there's a point in business, and some of you guys might be feeling it right now, where everyone reports directly to you, and it sucks. You're probably not making a lot of money, net income, I mean. You have operations, HR, finance, marketing, and sales all reporting directly to you. And your mind is going to explode because you have no leadership, you have no guidance, nothing. And I've lived it. You have to be able to take more chips, put them back into the team, and ascend leadership and ascend the people with the highest standards. That is who you want your leaders to be. So I challenge my team, and it's not always pretty. Challenging people isn't always nice. It's not always easy. Chris can attest to this. I ask the best of people because I ask the best of myself. So we started doing things like standard operating procedures, documented training, a true onboarding, 3-week onboarding process, all of the different things, and the true development of people. Again, aligning people's individual vision with the vision of the company is what took us to the next level at the end of the day. So this wasn't just about my development. I had to develop the team. And so last year, I invested $210,000 into not my development, but the development of my leaders within the team. And so I've sent them to Scottsdale and Miami and various places so that they could get developed. I mean, like in December, I spent $60,000 to send 7 of my leaders to Scottsdale, Arizona to learn about developing a company. And what happens whenever you invest in people like that is they invest back into you. They're like, dang. And I let my team know how much I invest in them. They get paid well, all the certain things. But when you invest in people like that, they feel valued. They feel like they're building something with you. And then what happened next? Okay, we're starting to make some money. So last year we did 7.6 million of revenue. These numbers, man. Net income was 1.8 million. And I didn't sell a policy. I didn't do anything. I led the company. I was there for meetings and there for a lot of things, but it was a business that did not require me. And it was actually a business that actually made decent margins at the end of the day. And so this year we have 40 employees in our Springfield location. We'll do probably about 13 million and net out, let's just call it 3.5 million, something like that. So this is what I'm so proud of. This is why if it was all about income, I would just have stopped a few years ago. This is why I do it. When you can send 6 of your team members to Argentina at the Four Seasons completely for free because of their hard work, this is changing people's lives. And I see agency owners who put business in their own name rather than their agents' names. I think you're shooting yourself in the foot. You want your people to go on this stuff. You want your people to win this stuff because then, again, their goals can align with the company's goals, and you guys can all win. There's an equation where everyone wins. The company, the employees, and your clients. They can all win, but you got to be the leader. You got to be the person who can bring them forward. And this is a gut punch. This is a look yourself in the mirror moment. Am I doing what's required, or am I just being soft? Am I leading my people? Am I doing the things? I look myself in the mirror every single day. Am I doing enough to lead the people to what they want? Are we aligned? Are we doing the things? This is what I'm not saying it has to matter to you, but this is what matters to me. This stuff is so important to me. This is why I do it, because I want my team to have experiences like this. It is so dang cool. I forget, there's a super famous person who stayed at the mansion that we were in the week before. This is like the mansion in Argentina, and my team got to stay there. So this is some team. Justin shared some of his stuff. We sent our service team to the rec room because, like, if you got a service team, like, clients can be not very nice sometimes, so you got to let some steam out sometimes. So we sent them there to just, like, destroy things. And then this is our team. This was taken maybe a couple weeks ago. And, we try to make it fun. We got ping pong. We got a basketball court. We got a pool table. We do a happy hour every Friday. But we didn't start like that. We had to make money first, and then now we can do the things. Snow tubing, really cool stuff. And then we just won one of the top ancillary agencies in the nation with Bankers Fidelity. Love those guys. And so we took what worked and we replicated it, and we did it over and over and over again. So we did it in Joplin, Missouri, which is about an hour west from our office. In the first 12 months, we did $9.8 million of revenue. We're projected to do 1.7 this year, and that's a brand new operator, brand new person, brand new office, about $2 million in the second year in business. Pretty cool. Chambers Insurance, Belton, Kansas City, Missouri, projected to do $710,000 in its first 12 months because we figured out something that works. We figured out something where it's like plug and play. As long as the leader's in place, as long as we can align the team, we can take it from, say, like quite literally 0 to hero, and hopefully quicker than what it took me at the end of the day. So this is all great, but how do you do the same? How can you guys replicate what we've done? And so there's levels to this. I walked out to this song because there's a documented approach of how you progress through these levels. And so the first one is 0 to 100,000. Anyone fall within this? 0 to 100,000. Raise your hand. All right, a few. So your problem. You probably have no consistent marketing source. The leads aren't very good. Some of that's on you. Some of that is actually on your systems. You have no new client opportunities, or very few. Because if you have consistent, over and over again, new client opportunities, you're going to be making more than 100,000, and you lack like basic follow-up. You have no automations in place. You probably maybe don't have a CRM. And so to get to the next level and progress through $100,000 a year, You need consistent marketing. You need to present and close to at least 12 people a week and build a client base via a CRM. Basic stuff at the end of the day, but sometimes difficult because I know I've been through it as well. So 100 to 300,000, you're bringing on a lot of clients, but they're only coming from one place. And this can be really good or really bad. You have a CRM, but you don't know what actually makes you money. You're like, I think this works, but I don't know because I don't know my numbers and I don't know where stuff comes from, but we're making money, but I don't really know why. And so 30 to 50% of your time is spent on non-revenue, meaning service, meaning stuff like that. To get to the next level, you need to diversify your marketing sources, hire some admin staff to get that 30 to 50% of your time back into selling, and you need to understand your numbers. You need to know how you make money at the end of the day. So 300 to 800,000. Problem, you're doing everything. You're doing the sales, you're doing a lot of the service, you're doing marketing, you're doing HR, you just had to fire someone, and then you had a client meeting and all this stuff. Your net margins are likely really good, but you're doing everything. And you're worn out, and you're banging your head against the wall, and you're like, I did this to make money and help people, but now I just hate it even though I'm making great money. AEP is a freaking wreck. Like you hate, most people love AEP, you hate it because of how much service and client retention you have to do, and you want a high-paying job, not a business. And that's cool. If you want a high-paying job, keep doing it. If you want to progress, hire a sales team. This is scary because you have a process and it's hard to duplicate. It's hard to duplicate you. But what happens is when you align a team and you do it over and over and over again, you can create people who are better than you. Because the reason you don't hire possibly is because you think no one's going to do it the way I did. Nobody's going to service my clients the way I did. Nobody's going to have the client experience the way I did. You just got to trust people. You got to trust that you're hiring the right people, align their vision with your vision, and great things start to happen. So I think you need to become a marketer at that point and then become a data-driven person. Make decisions off of data, not off of a feeling. If anyone's done this, it's me. And then hire multiple administrative staff so that your sales team is selling and your service team is servicing. So 800 to 2, everyone's reporting to you. This is probably the worst place you can be when having staff because you want to blow your brains out all the time. I've lived it. I've done it. You're everything to everyone. Marketing, sales, finance, all the things. Your initial marketing efforts that you try to diversify are now getting bottlenecked because you need more leads to get to your sales team. So you got all these people reporting to you. You're burned out. You're not making a lot of money because you have all this staff, but you don't know what you're doing. And then retention becomes an issue because your training is a problem. Your training and onboarding isn't good enough to duplicate yourself. So you build an employee onboarding, you develop other streams of marketing. So you, like if you're seminar heavy, you now had Google, or you had Facebook, or you had something else. You promote leaders, so the person with the highest standard is who I would suggest. And then you build a documented client journey, SOPs if you will, of what you did. Like if you think your client experience isn't duplicatable, I promise if you put it on a piece of paper and you SOP that crap, it's duplicatable. Because I've done it. There was, like, here's how you do it. One AEP, because I had about 1,200 clients, not 3,000, but 1,200, and with 3,000 it would be more difficult. But one AEP, I said, I'm not meeting with clients anymore. I said, I trained a team, personally, myself, to hold you guys to the same standard that you know with me. And it worked. Now, were there a few clients that only wanted to work with me? Yes, but I wouldn't let them. If they only wanted to work with me, they got to go somewhere else. And I know that is a punch in the nuts, but it's what is required to get to the next level. Like you can be where you are, or you can do what's required to get to the next level. And sometimes it's looking yourself in the face and being like, I gotta let some of this go. As the company gets bigger, you gotta let some stuff go. If you were the marketer, don't be the marketer anymore. Hire a good person and do it over and over and over again. So 2 to 5. Your team's kind of trained. There's no consistent system to bring on new staff. Your sales manager is looking at Indeed resumes, and then they're also looking at ops stuff. Everybody's all over the place. You make decisions off of a feeling, not off of data. Nothing is standardized. Everybody does things their own way. And this is the antithesis of a great company, in my opinion. So to get to the next level, you need to develop HR and repeatable onboarding and training. This has been a really, really big thing for us. Now we bring on 5 salespeople a month. I don't even know who they are. I don't interview them. I don't train them. I see them probably about 4 weeks in, and I do one presentation in the onboarding, you give your leaders more opportunity. If you're doing something, if you're doing marketing, if you're doing training, you're doing operations, you're doing finance, you show them. You're transparent, like, hey, we're making money, like, here's how we make it, here's how we do this stuff. And then you develop consistent standard operating procedures that if you need to do something, here's exactly step by step, documented with screenshots, here's how you do it. So 5 to 12, this is what we are breaking through right now. So team is the problem. Team is unaligned with the owner. This will happen. We've been through it. You have to get down to the nitty-gritty with your people, and you literally have to ask them, what are your personal, professional, and financial goals? And then you build a plan to have them hit that in your company. So let's say someone wants to make $100,000, and they need to make X amount of dials a day to produce X amount of revenue, to produce X amount of commission. You build that plan for them. And if you don't know that, that's on you as a business owner to know that. That is a business owner function. That is a CEO function. If you don't know your numbers, it ain't anyone else's fault but your own. So your sales team sells policies, but they're not super consistent. Like, you got to be on them all the time. And then operations and client success are not consistent in what they deliver. Everybody's doing stuff their own way. So the next level is attracting the right talent, which comes with like big boy benefits, which would mean like group health insurance, 401k, like we pay for people's 100% of their health insurance. We pay them a $60,000 base, 7% commission. They go on trips, they get residuals, they get like all that type of stuff. It's like, I can have a career. I can have a career here. So focus changes from CPA to LTV. This is a big thing for people. It's not so much that we need to get our CPA down to 50 or 100. It's how we need to create a bigger LTV, a bigger what a client is worth to the company. So your agency now has departments and defined department leadership. So I've never done it. After, like I said, we're going to do about 13 million this year. I don't know what's next. I'll let you all know whenever I find out, but I don't want to speak on something that I actually haven't done. And so I don't know what it takes to go from 12 to 18 million. But I have videos on every stage of this. So this QR code is a link to our school group. School is kind of like a Facebook groups type of deal, but we post really good stuff in there. Like I post in there, Chris posts in there, my leadership teams post in there, my director of marketing, my director of sales, they all post in there about what we're doing. And we do this because, just like Justin mentioned, we like when people win, and we want people to build similar companies to us, if that is your goal at the end of the day. And so if you scan that, you'll go to our school group. It's free, it's whatever. But you can see what we do. Like I think on the top of there, it says, here's how we take agents from 0 to 20,000 a month in new revenue within 60 days. Or here's exactly how we do Turning 65 seminars. Or here's how we do all of this stuff. So you can go there, hop in, and we have videos on all of this stuff. And then I'll release the course on the levels of 0 to 100K, all of that stuff, later this week. So why does any of this matter? When you build a great business, you can do great things. And I don't say this to boast, but you can make such an impact in people's life. Like the reason I take the video, because my parents asked me to, is like I was able to retire them 6 years early. If you build a small business, you just probably can't do that stuff. It's money. It took money to do that. Countless cases of employees just earning more money. My sales director, in like 18 months, was making $38,000 a year to $120,000 a year in 18 months with us. Like, this is how you impact people. And then if you build the business that doesn't require you, everyone can win, and you don't even have to be there sometimes. That's like the coolest thing ever. Like, you can go do all the things that you dreamed about. Everyone in your company can hit their goals and dreams. You can take great care of your clients. You can make more money. But it all comes down to you. It comes down to you as a business owner. If you don't know your numbers, if you're not the leader that people can follow, if you're complaining about the team, it's all your fault. Everything is your fault, good, bad, or ugly. So when the team wins, it's your fault. When they don't win, it's also your fault. It's not CMS, it's not the carrier, It's none of that. It is on you to be the leader. It's on you to build the company that can do all of these things. So my challenge to you guys is to become the leader that can help others' dreams become true. Playing small doesn't help anyone. You have people in your company right now that have a dream, and you think that they could be good, and if you can align the two, I promise you as a business owner, you will win. So there's the QR code to the school group again. That is all I got for you guys. I appreciate it, and